This is Lonnie.
This is Greg.
Welcome to Legacy in Motion. Today, what we're going to be talking about is not just launching an app, but it's we're going to talk about the direction of running your business, about not just working hard as a 9 to 5, but trying to move forward to a better situation.
Oh yeah.
Not just working hard as a 9 to 5, but trying to move forward to a better
All right. So and it's a very special time right now, a very special day for us. Of course, I'm in Colorado. Lonnie lives in Kentucky, but look, we're right next to each other doing this podcast. So amazing things are starting to happen, and we're pushing forward to new things, new beginnings, and we got a lot to tell you, and we got a lot of things upcoming, and we're gonna get right into it. Let Lonnie give you like the opening and where we headed.
Yeah, so instead of creating a website, we created an app. And right now we're working on an app, and it's going to be loaded up to Apple Store, to Google Store. It's going to have a couple of things on there that's going to be key points to help you guys run your business. We're going to have a community in there where you can ask us questions. You can post your results. You can post anything that you have. We can actually see it from real time because it goes directly to our phone, and you'll be able to get live updates on things that you have questions about. Also, what I like is we came up with a kids section for. We came up with a kids section for. 1 second, please. Let me see.
Turns up. Oh yeah, we can look now.
Yeah, we're sure we can get you guys on here look better on here.
And of course, we have being in the same place. We're still working those kinks out. So we're so used to being far apart. So yeah, we're getting it in now.
All right, we're good now. We just go from there. So.
All right.
Everything's good now?
Awesome. Okay.
Perfect.
Look like we're good. All right.
We was talking about the one of the sections on the app. We was talking the kids section where the kids can learn coding and business, and it's up to, between 8 and 15. I'll give it to Greg. He can talk a little bit more. That's one of the ideas he wanted to come up with.
Yeah. So one thing that we were thinking of, and throughout each podcast, we discussed that we're doing stuff for older people that's already out of school, and they starting their journey down the business path. But we didn't focus on building an empire or building blocks for kids. So we came up with creating a course that can not only teach 8 to 15-year-olds how to start a business at a younger age, but to also get into coding. Of course, coding deals with a lot of the AI programs that we work with, and it helps create a bigger process within the AI as well as computers, everyday life. And if you think about it, anything you do with a formula in Excel is similar to AI and coding, more on the coding side and formalizing a program. But when you get into coding, it actually breaks it down further on how they get those formulas and how it goes into a computer. So we were thinking that with kids, they can understand how to do all of this at a younger age. And when they get to 15 and 16, they already know what to do, how to do it. And that journey begins for them at a younger age.
Right. Yeah. And one of the biggest things that when you growing at between 8 and 15 is communication. So one of the things that we want to touch on today is talking about communication, and which is we broke it down to 3 steps.
Yes.
And how to communicate, how to start a business, and where are you going to head next when you start a business? You got to have a clear direction. So where are you going to head next?
And when you think of businesses and communication, everyday life you have to communicate. And when you don't communicate effectively at a smaller venue, you have issues. So within business, like Lonnie said, you have those three forms of communication. And what we're going to hit on for those three forms is going to be you have internal communication, you have external communication, and what we touched on prior is AI communication, or that automated, they call it artificial intelligence, but it's more of communicating with a computer as an end user. So,
right. So it's pretty much using the correct apps to get the right information. So we're gonna let's touch on like internal communication first. Let's talk about that first. So before the business plan, before the pitch, and before you download all these different apps to help you get to that point, you gotta have a certain thing, a certain kind of conversation that you can have to yourself and ask you what you want to do in your head.
Yes. So if you think of internal communication, you think of when you're starting something, a lot of people say, well, I need to talk about it. I need to formulate a plan. That is your internal communication on how you are formalizing something internal to yourself. And a lot of people will say, well, how do you do that? When you think of a plan, you're basically saying, well, I'm going to do this. Or you're mumbling or saying it inside your head. That's your internal communication to yourself. So think of internal as self-communication. So you're just you and yourself, or you have the good person on one side, the bad person on the other side, and you're both talking to see how you're going to get to the end result.
Right. And that's another thing for less confident, not being confident enough to do. That's that bad person's telling you, exactly. You can't do it. Exactly. Like, it's too much work, and you don't have the money or the funds to do it. But actually, you do. And the internet and things that we're going to teach you guys, and the reason why we build an app to show you guys how easy it is to start a business.
Yes.
How to be successful at it, and how to market it.
Yes. And like we said, key things is communication. Communicating with others, communicating with yourself, communicating with internal to yourself. And we just kind of going back and forth trying to see what the chats are. So when you think of external communication, so now you're broadening that horizon. So internally, you formulated that plan. Now you need to be able to discuss, talk your analytics, budget, programs, what you want to do. That is your external. So now you're discussing things externally with individuals. So just think of if I had a business or I was starting a business and I say, oh, I need to talk to somebody, and I see Lon, I say, hey, how do I start this? If I have this idea, how do I advance it? How do I develop this? And now you're having external communication with somebody that has business mind, business plan, and the know-how. And that's where you go with external.
That's pretty good. What do you think, like with external communication, where you, what's a good example for external communication? I want to break that down.
So if you think of external, you say, well, I am a AutoZone car dealership that's already established, and now you have somebody that's wanna branch off, or they want to start their own small automobile industry of maintenance. Now they have to have a discussion with stakeholders or whoever is the developer, or how they develop that company to start in the beginning. So now you're getting that external along and being able to develop everything that they have and making it your process. And when you think of external, internal, external, and AI, it's the way you communicate. And an example would be everyday life discussions is not a business discussion. That is not proper communication. And when you don't communicate effectively, that's how you lose sales. You lose a business structure. you don't have the buy-in of others. And what I mean by that is, if you're on the street and you see somebody and you're like, oh, what's up? What's happening? Nobody knows that language because they're not, you're speaking on a level where you should, where you were. Now, when you're speaking business and you're in that business environment, you might meet somebody that has never been around a certain culture. So you have to be able to articulate those words properly, articulate what you're trying to say effectively so they can understand it. And that's the proper communication and being able to communicate with within a circle. What I mean by within a circle is being able to communicate with someone of similar background. Not saying that you have to go and be hood or something or say something out of norm. You want to be able to still speak on the same level and be able to effectively have them understand exactly what you're saying.
So I got another example on how to help with that.
Mm-hmm.
So doing the research, understanding how your business works, have a clear direction on what you want to get to with your business, and like I said, do the research, understand how your business works, and feel confident about your business. And the way that you can talk to people is actually looking in the mirror and speaking to yourself as of you looking at yourself on how you want to present yourself when you trying to sell your business to the person that you want to invest in or some kind of product that you're selling or services. So always try to sound confident, have a clear voice. And another thing too, timing. So if somebody is doing something random or they busy, try to do it at a different time. Don't kind of budge them and be like, hey, I got a business proposition for you. Sometimes they're not going to really listen to you. Mm-hmm. So it's all about timing. It's all about just being prepared when you do and when you're ready to talk to that person about your services or business that you have. So
oh yeah, definitely good points. And like we said, having effective communication is key. And I can give you an example, another example. So being in a business, say a governmental business, and you're working in the government industry, DoD, and you have something that you're creating and you don't know exactly how to approach the person or approach a program manager, approach a high-ranking military person and say, hey, this is how we're gonna, this is how we want to approach it. So when you do that, you have to take time, know the person that you're going to present this to, know what qualities or what background they have. And then that way you can determine how you speak, how you articulate the information, and how you approach it. And you got to approach it with caution sometimes because some people might not understand and ask a million questions. Or if you just give them the information that they want, they're going to ask. Give them more information so they can say, okay, now I understand it without coming back to ask questions. So sometimes more is good. But when you crunch for time, be able to table it down or condense what you're trying to pitch to that person. And then that way you have an effective approach. They got the information and you might have to come back with a follow on, but they understand exactly what you're trying to say.
Right. And that brings up the good point too that we're going to talk about next is AI communication. Something that a new territory that a lot of people don't understand. But when you use it and you finally understand it, it can do so many things for you. So many things, and it can help you streamline your business. It can help you have more time to create than to work on your business. So you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. So think of AI as a lot of people say, well, AI is going to talk to me. AI is going to create. I got a guy at work that he says, I named my AI Frank. I said, you named him Frank? He said, yeah, because sometimes that's the only person that I talk to that give me the true answer. So AI is not actually talking to you. AI is giving you the input from the output. So if you think of it as vague input is what you put into or prompt into AI. And if you give it a vague input, it's going to give you a vague output. So the more you put into a prompt or the more you put into something for AI to give you an answer, it's going to give you a better result. So just say, for instance, if you have an AI program and you say, hey, create me a flower, create an image of a flower. It's going to create a random flower that you might not like. So you're going to say, you want, that's vague input, and it's going to give you vague output. So in one sense, you'll say, hey, create me a rose bush with a blue background on a pile, on a medium dirt mound with rocks around it. The more information you give AI is going to give you a better result and a better outcome.
Right. And that's just talking about prompts. Prompts is pretty much when it's like almost like code. You telling this program to pull up information or to create something for you and input it out. The more you put in a prompt, or the more that you put in the prompt, the window, the more that you're going to get back. The more better information, the better structure of what you're trying to pursue, or your goal on what you're trying to put out there. Mainly, what I do with my AI is, with my business part of it, is I use it for content creation, to help me gauge what videos to actually create, and to give me ideas and to run certain aspects of my business. So that 10 hours of working would cut me down to 5 just to make sure and manage everything on my AI end. But you have to understand the way to use AI to make it do what you wanted to do.
Yeah, and you got to think of one part of AI is, and I wrote this down because I thought it was important, is clear thinking creates leverage. And you say, well, what is it? So when you think clear and think of writing, when you first started writing when you was a kid, you would jumble words together because you couldn't create that sentence. Creating a proper sentence and a proper way to articulate things or say it is clear thinking. And that creates leverage for you to get the end. And you think of what's the end? The outcome, the output, results that you can take back and create something better than what you created the first time. And that's where you get your clear thinking creates your leverage.
With that though, you can actually use those type of tools. There's so many tools out there. So it's just a matter of what you need your business for and what you're trying to use it for.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, you can even use it to start a business, and that's the next subject we want to talk about. Some people have so many ideas, they all over the place, and they don't really know what will work and what don't work. So with using AI, it can kind of put those thoughts in one paragraph or one PDF, and you have a clear vision on when you're trying to start a business. You can even break down certain things for if you have a service and you're trying to do a service somewhere that they don't really have services. It can break it down in a way to to tell you the stats. Okay, well, you maybe need to move to this place here because they have a big dog population here, and this is how you promote it, and this is how you scale it to make this much money every year.
Right, and you creating a business through AI, and if you kind of rewind back and say, how does AI understand exactly what data is being put in, and how is it getting specific results? So AI is pulling data from every source that's over the World Wide Web. So when you think of www, that's exactly what it is. It's pulling data from every source. Every time somebody inputs something into any AI chat, any AI program, saves data, one huge database, and it is learning as you go. So it learns every single thing that is being created or being asked of it. So just think of, if you say, I want to create a restaurant with the focus of Asian, Indian food, or you put it on specific days. Monday, I want Asian. Tuesday, I want Mexican food. Wednesday, I want uh, Southern food. So it'll give you a recipe, or it give you the foods, But like I said before, whatever you put in is going to be your result. And when you put in what is the best days to have these type of foods for my restaurant during this time of the year, it's going to give you the actual days, the actual times, what the prices should be for each meal, and it's going to base it off of every state.
Right. And with that, just saying that, you don't have to overcomplicate it.
Mm-hmm.
You just ask the right questions. So when you want to start, and you can build from that. You can build from that. Even when you want to ask it, for example, Greg was saying when you're trying to sell something on certain days or something like that, it will break everything down, and it actually give you. You can even ask it the portions,
Yes.
and the cost of it. It's so you never have to overthink it. You can really make it easy by inputting the correct information that you wanted to input out. So
yeah, and that's the best way to approach different areas of working with AI. And you just have to remember, AI is only as smart as the end user. As it enhances itself and learn, it becomes what people would say smarter. But AI is only a tool. It's only providing input or providing output from the input it's getting. And you just have to understand sometimes that you'll get bogus information or you'll get bogus material that's coming back, and you have to still do the research to understand exactly where it's coming from.
right, that leads to the second question. Who is this for? Who is this program for? Or who pretty much who can be an entrepreneur? That's what I think of.
Yeah.
Like who got the skills and who can take the test of time
Yeah.
to actually put in the work, because it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's so many tools out there. I don't know why we keep saying this, but there's so many tools out there that you can do if you really want to be successful in business. So um, let's talk about a little bit about starting small.
All right.
Starting small. Like,
Yeah.
so when starting small, it's budgeting how much certain things cost and what you need and what you don't need. Some people want to start all the way up here, but they don't have certain things to get to that point, or they'll get overwhelmed and they get burnt out, and then they just don't do it. So my opinion on starting small is make sure you have an idea, make sure you have a clear view of what you're trying to do, and get a book to write down a list of things that you need and don't need. And then from there, then you can put that into certain programs or something like that to give you spit out certain things for you to start your business, or how you gonna sell to who at a small scale. So
yeah, and that's some good points is starting small. So when you think of starting small, a lot of people, the first thing they think of is how can I start small to gain revenue or be able to approach it with minimal amount of money and get big results on the back end. You can look through any book, any research, and any data. When a business first starts, the first 2 years is probably not going to make the money that you think. You're probably going to be in a negative on your output of funds. So what I mean by that is every business that normally starts for the first 2 years will not make positive profit. And that doesn't mean that you're not doing the right thing. That just means that you're first starting, your cost outweighs what you're trying to do. And that's most businesses. That's because you have to pay for starting your business, your supplies, and now you're creating a marketable way to move ahead. So things cost. And then that first year, you're learning what you learned you're taking from the first year. Now you're developing a little bit more. You might have better ideas. You scratching some projects and you moving forward with some. So that revenue from that point is going to keep you afloat. You're still not going to be in the positive because you're still trying to approach from a market perspective, different ways that you're looking at how much money did I put into it, and now I feel like I'm short. The third year is where you should have the plan to move ahead, exceed the last 2 years, and now you can start seeing your profits, and you see your profits grow, and you have the knowledge of becoming a small business owner, and now you got to realize I started small with a minimal amount of money. Now I'm increased. I outweighed my last 2 years. My profits are bigger, and you started small. Now you're getting bigger and bigger. You started at a micro level. Now you're at a macro.
Right, and just from starting small, never underprice yourself. Never underprice. Always charge for what you think is worth. So that's adding certain things like your labor. If you're building something, make sure you add your labor to it.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you add your shipping and handling. Shipping and handling is pretty much you're taking your package, you're packing it up neatly and get it to the customer safely and not broken. Services can be more of like, what's a good idea for service? Service can be more like you take your time, perfect. Your time of teaching that person, or that time that you took away from your schedule to to teach a person something new or to build a website or something like that. So never underprice, never doubt yourself, especially when you're doing pricing. That's the only way you're going to be successful at doing, working whatever you're trying to do in business. So
right, good points, and you want to start small on purpose also. So when you start small on purpose, it means you don't need everything that another person has. You don't need a logo on day one. What you need on day one is a plan and where you want to move forward and what you're trying to do. That means you have done all your analysis up front, and now you have an end result of what you want to do. And you don't need your LLC on day one. Day one, like we said, start small, have a plan, have a vision, so you can get to your end results of what you want to do.
Right, and yeah, I kind of skip ahead a little bit. And when you do that, when you start small, that's when you set your prices for what your product. Whenever you figure out from starting small, you figure out the price and your value of your product or services that you're trying to do.
Oh yeah.
From that, the next step, which is step 5, is building a system. Building a system that works for you. Some people work full-time jobs, and doing that, it could take a lot of time out of your day. So when doing that, make sure you have like a something that works for you. Some people like to work at night. Some people like to work in the morning. And just know that it's going to take time to just not scale it. You got to, once you create that system, then you can, and the system is all the way down, then you can learn how to scale it and figure out exactly what's going to work.
Right. And scaling a business, and when you scale a business, you want to think of what system or what is the systematic process that you want to move forward with. And that system that you create is more or less is just a process. If you think of steps, you think of, I have 1 through 10. These are my steps. This is my system. This is my systematic process. And this is the way that I create a scalable structure of my business. And what I would say with business systems, if you don't hustle, you're not going to get it.
Right.
And there's one of my buddies always told me, it's greater later. And I say that a couple times, and I said it a couple times through some of the podcasts. It's greater later because you work hard in the beginning, you see the end results later.
The benefits of it.
The benefits of working.
And I'm gonna keep saying this all the time, every time. It's so easy in 2025. If you struggling, or if you not starting a business, you're gonna be behind, and it's gonna be a lot tougher for you.
Oh yeah.
It's so many things that you can do, and so many services. You just got to be better at it.
Oh yeah.
And you use the technology to do so.
Yes.
It's not, just like you said, it's a hustle and it's a marathon.
Yeah.
It's going to take.
Oh yeah. And what you don't want to do is, and when Rolanda said a marathon, it means a marathon when you run it, it's a long process.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to rush to failure, so you don't want to get in a marathon and run a sprint and then you don't get to the finish line. So start small, start at a pace, and pace yourself throughout.
Right. And another thing we're going to talk about is time, which is step 6. It's perfect. Use your time as currency. I said that earlier in the thing, so I'll kind of skip ahead, but use your time as currency. I'm going to say that again. That is the most valuable thing that you have, because you have nothing but time, but you don't have that much time.
Right.
So you got to plan it out in a way where it works for you. And it's all, and that's when you come into marketing and things like that.
And
even
good.
Yeah, even if money is limited, time's become an investment. Your time becoming an investment, even though money is limited. So,
and you got to be consistent. Consistent with the things that you're doing is going to create that revenue. It create the amount of time that you're working on something. And if you don't do that, and like if we go back and forth with rushing a failure, running a marathon, and you look at most businesses, you see the production or companies producing thousands and thousands of items, and they're creating quantity to push out to people without quality. And you can get products from stores now, and you'll say, hey, why isn't my TV working? Or you get a vehicle from a dealership, and you got to constantly take it back because the quality is not there, because they're pushing out quantity just to make a profit. So in a business, how you build those connections with people, and you have people that want to come back to what you're selling, is you create the atmosphere, and you create the positivity that you have quality in your product.
Right. And that talks about what matters the most to you.
Mm-hmm.
What matters the most? Like, why are you even doing into business? What drives you to start your own business? And that's talking about priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things like, for instance, if some friend call you and say, man, let's go to the bar and go hang out and do this, but you have this list of stuff to do today, and that day is your only day off. Mm-hmm. What is your priorities? What you going to actually do, and what's your actually matter long term for you?
Oh yeah, and when you think of long term, you think of clarity beats complexity. So having a clear and concise, being able to project or articulate something clear and concise, and say this is an easy way to do it, rather than saying, give me how many miles to the moon and then divide it by how many miles to the sun. It's too complex for the end user to do something. So what you want to do is have more clarity in what you're doing, rather than being more complex so people don't understand it. And that's the way you start to communicate. And when you think of clarity and a different, you're competing against somebody else, and now you're saying, okay, my ideas are a little bit better than his, because now that person is, they have something that is not understandable. And you say, well, how do I communicate this to somebody when this person has more talent than me? So the way you do that is communication always be talent, because you cannot have talent and be able to sit down in an interview, get a job, because you have communicated to that person that you are going to work hard, going to be there every day, and that you're willing to learn and understand how things build and how they grow. When a person that is say that, oh, I have more talent, they're going to go in and they're going to have they're going to be arrogant about what they say and say, well, I understand how to do that. I know how to do that already. That's not how things are going to work, because you're going to fail, because you're not taking the approach of, I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to communicate I'm willing to have a different approach to communicating how I want to get to the end.
Right. And that goes right into execution. Execution beats ideas. Let me say that again. Execution beats ideas. And what that means is, you can have an idea, but if you don't execute it, it's just going to be an idea, and it's going to continue to be an idea if you don't execute it.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that, and it's because of the fear and things like that. But this, I would say, to help you, overcome that fear, is write stuff down. Write it to yourself. Speak it into existence.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you're going to start thinking differently, and that's how you're going to execute it, because you're going to be like, man, I'm tired of talking about it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to find a way to figure this out and do it for myself. Not just for me. Sometimes people have motivation for their family, for their kids, to have a better life, to go travel. That should give you the drive to execute, to have a, take your idea and execute and be successful at anything that you do. So
and just to hit on that a little bit more in execution, what you want to do is you create a plan on how you're going to accomplish certain tasks within your business structure. So if you say I have 10 things to do for this week, on that, before you start that, create a plan for 10 items, 10 things, how much time you're going to dedicate to one per item, how much time total that you're going to have for the week or for 2 days for a certain item. Or if you have 10, you divide it into how many hours per week, based on if you have 8-hour days, if you have 3-hour days. But anything that you do and you execute properly, you can accomplish. And don't be afraid to not accomplish a certain task. Use that as a carryover to the next week and the next week, until you get to a point to where you're on a regular cycle and you're just rolling and you're hitting on every cylinder.
Right. This is a good subject. I like this subject. The next one is consistency. Beats motivation. Oh man.
Yeah.
You could be, you could start off being motivated in the beginning. Oh, I got my LLC. You're talking about it, and I got my own business. Then that feeling stop. Now you got to get into maintaining your business, keeping that drive alive. And I feel like consistency is one of those. Waking up and having a plan. Having a plan where I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna eat, and then I'm gonna take a shower, and then I'm gonna work 6 hours on business doing certain things. Some people have multiple business, so you can always set it up where you can say, okay, what is the top 5 or 10 things I want to accomplish this week? Just like what Greg was saying, have a plan, and with that plan, you can create consistency by accomplish things every week to get to the point that you want to get towards the end of the year.
Oh yeah.
So, man, most people don't fail when they have that, but
well, if you think about it, when you say most businesses don't fail with consistency, and you always got to think of, am I failing or if I'm not failing? So don't think of failure as something that's going to break your business or you're going to stop working. The only way you learn is to fail. The only way you get better is to fail. Nobody ever started out winning every race. Nobody ever started out winning a boxing match. Nobody ever started out with a business that made $1 million in the first year. And if they did, then somebody donated them $1 million in the first year. So don't think of with consistency, and you having that consistency in the beginning, you don't fail. You just get to a platform to where you understand how you're moving and you're moving in the right direction.
All right. So it's about to be 2026.
Another year gone. It's another year gone.
So like a lot of, I want to say a story real quick before we talk about the app and talk about the new thing that we're going to be doing this year. So everybody before the year, I got a New Year resolution. I want to be this. I want to be that. And the first month they get it in. You see all these videos on TikTok. They're working out. They starting this. They're starting that, and then it just stops. It's got to go off from right there. So the reason why we created this podcast, and the reason that we want to get some more information, to get the information out, because a lot of people don't know. So next year, where we're going to be heading is, like I said, we're going to be doing this amazing app. We thought about doing a website, but I think an app would probably be the best thing, because a lot of people work full time and they on the go, so they can just pop their phone out and actually look at all the information that we provided. It's going to be paid stuff on there. It's going to be free content. And what's so awesome about it, the thing with kids, teaching kids from the beginning, and we have be a more structured learning environment too, because it's really user friendly. And also the biggest thing too that we're going to be teaching is AI literacy, which a lot of people don't know. A lot of things going to change. I don't know if you ever seen those like futuristic type movies where they just like people is in this small apartment and they work this odd job, but the odd job is something that it pays a lot because the doctors and things like that is starting to phase out because robotics and AI is starting to take those jobs over. So um, instead of being in not in the know, it's good to be in the know to prepare for the future. So
Yeah, and that's one thing. Like Linus said, is what we're doing is next year we're expanding. It's an intentional expansion where we're going to be able to show more real business cases to where we show the end user what exactly is going on, how to get better, and with this app, it's going to be able to show numbers, real numbers of how businesses are starting to expand in 2026 compared to 25. It's going to actually show how to structure a business better with the new laws and new economy and the way we're going forward. It's going to be able to show how kids and families can start to use AI to create their own source of income and create a better learning platform. And that's one thing that we're focusing on is to create that for families and for end users. So all they can do is just go to that app and say, okay, I see this data. How do I learn this better? Instead of sitting down behind a computer waiting till you get to log in, you take a lunch break, pop open your phone, and you say, I got it. I learned it. I'm learning. I figured it out. And if you have questions, you can always come back on that app, ask questions. There's blogs. There's previous uh, episodes of our podcast. And it's different areas that you can go on and get the help you need, as well as contacting us and registering and becoming a member on that app.
right. So we're gonna get back to it too, like doing lives every Sunday. So during the week, if you guys do have questions, we can touch on those when we do the live also. So, but if you took anything from today, I would say take this and um, I would say that legacy is a legacy is one of those things where it's a motivational type thing. It's a thing that what drives you every day to get up every morning and to keep going and to build something and actually rest in peace if rest
Yeah.
knowing that your family is taken care of.
Oh
So
yeah. And
yeah,
and when we first started about it, discussing this, we didn't think it would be where it's at right now. It was just an idea, and like we said, start with an idea, develop that idea. So think of legacy isn't built in silence; it's built through action. And when you start a business, you say, "Well, how am I going to build my business?" Don't build it in silence. Build it through communication, action, commitment, consistency, dedication. Those are the qualities of a business owner that's structured, and then you can get after whatever you want to get after. And we're doing it. We're proof, and we might have little hiccups here and there, but we never stop. We never say we can't because I can is a lie, and it shouldn't be in the dictionary to be.
right.
So, and you got to think of that. That brings back one point that I wanted to hit on, and I've been thinking about this for a while. When you say I can't do something, and you're say if you're in the kitchen, you're trying to cook something, and you say, "Man, I can't do it." Where I can't shouldn't be in there because you're already doing it and you're trying. So it's not that I can't, it's that I haven't got to the end result yet, and I'm still working to get that good product. So always develop your skills and develop the way you do things. Never give up.
Right. And that being said, the app will be up Monday, the latest, at midnight. Sign up, be a part of join the Pathfinder Circle. to get some really awesome information. And when you sign up, it's going to give you a self assessment, and that help us to see what level you are and help us provide the right information for you guys and give you some really good insight to help you move forward in your entrepreneur journey. So,
oh yeah, and I always think of legacy is built in motion. As we have legacy in motion, legacy is always built in motion as it still creates and still goes.
all right, guys. Well, we back.
We're back.
We're gonna do another one before for the holidays and give y'all some really good information to start off for the New Year's. But I would say just go for it. Don't you do your New Year's resolution, but the time is now.
Time is now.
Time is now. So, but we'll see you guys next week, and we'll send out. Also, we created a Facebook fan page, and also we created a couple of things to communicate with us. But once it launched, I'm gonna send out a notification to everybody showing that we launched the new app. So look out for that notification, guys, and you have a good evening.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. I'm Greg.
All right. Welcome back. Well, welcome.